After a long battle with breast cancer and 2 painful hip replacements, Sharon Cramp-Oliver's mum, Liz Holmes, took her own life in September 2017. Detailed diaries and letters Liz left behind say if she could have accessed voluntary euthanasia, she would have. The diaries talk about her ongoing agony, poor quality of life and fear of becoming a burden on those she loved.
She became very dependent on other people, and my mum was always a very independent woman.
The Northern Territory will be the first jurisdiction in Australia to legalise euthanasia.
This is an historic day for Territorians who want the right of choice over end-of-life decisions.
In 1995, the NT became the first place in the world to pass a law allowing a doctor to end the life of a terminally ill patient at their request. The bill came into effect the following year, and 4 people used it before the federal government stepped in and passed a law to stop the territories from legalising voluntary euthanasia. Liz lived in Tamworth, New South Wales, one of the 6 jurisdictions in Australia where assisted dying is not legal. Victoria and Western Australia allow voluntary euthanasia with strict conditions, and Tasmania and Queensland parliaments will discuss assisted dying laws this year. But the territories do not have the power to pass legislation on the issue. Sharon says if the NT still had assisted dying laws, she would have brought her mum here to die surrounded by family.
Wouldn't it have been nice for her to go to sleep with her family around her rather than do that by herself?
Bob Dent was the first person to die using the NT's assisted dying laws. His widow Judy remembers holding her husband's hand as he took his last breath.
All the signs of pain just disappeared, all the frown, and then he stopped breathing. All very calm, peaceful.
Judy says as other states pass their own laws, it becomes more absurd the NT is denied the right to decide for itself.
We should restore their rights. Not restore the legislation, but restore our rights to ask for such legislation.
Former Chief Minister Marshall Perrin, who first introduced the NT's Rights of the Terminally Ill Act, says it's undemocratic to deny the territories the right to vote on the subject.
This is not a voluntary euthanasia issue. This is an issue of the equal democratic representation of Australians. We should not be discriminated on the grounds of geography.
Dr Robert Parker says while he wants the NT to have the power to make its own laws, the Australian Medical Association believes the burden should not be put on doctors to make the decision to end someone's life.
The AMA, as it currently cannot support physician-assisted suicide, and it says that it's an issue for populations and governments.
Shirley McKerrow has been a member of the NT Voluntary Euthanasia Society for more than 25 years and has been passionate about the issue since witnessing a friend's painful death in the 1950s.
I want to be able to die peacefully with my family around me and with the music playing that I want to hear, and just have a nice peaceful death. I don't want to die on my own in a hospital in agony.
In the NT, both the Chief Minister and Opposition Leader agree that the federal government should not have the power to override the NT if it were to legalise assisted dying. And Federal Labor member for Solomon, Luke Gosling, says he's in discussions with his counterparts in Canberra about a bill to restore the NT's rights. But Marshall Perrin says the time for politicians talking is over.
They should be lobbying in their own political parties. They should be advocating on the basis of democracy, the sanity of the situation, or the insanity of the situation.
In her final letter to family, Liz Holmes wrote, "We should all be able to choose when we die." Her daughter hopes Liz's story will spark a conversation about the issue, so other desperate people don't have to make the same decision her mum did. Lauren Roberts, ABC News, Darwin.